everybody, and welcome to this edition of Sports Talk. I'm Jimmy Allinder, and joining me once more is the Supervisor of Athletics for East Brunswick High School, Frank Noppenberger. Frank, thanks very much for joining us, and before we begin, you're always thanking me all the time. This time I want to thank you on behalf of Cindy O'Connor, our station manager, Pete Canamessa, and Dave Ambrosi, our producers. I want you to know that we do not take this for granted, you coming in a cloud of whatever from behind, leaving so many things that you do to come in and spend a little bit of time in reviewing the season. And I just want to thank you once more. And before you say you're welcome, I also want to lead into another comment. And I've been in sports, involved with covering sports for about 30 years, over 30 years now. And I've seen other athletic directors go about the way they go about their jobs. And some of them don't get much sleep. I don't know how much sleep you get. But you always come across as somebody who is in total control. You have under you one of the biggest high school sports programs in the state of New Jersey, yet you never get ruffled, yet I know it's a lot of work, okay? What is the secret?
Well, Jim, thank you for those kind words, but what Channel 3 does for the athletic program, not many people understand and see the value of taping the games and how the kids use it for lasting memories and their colleges. But I enjoy this, not so much because I'm on TV, but there's so many good things going on out there that maybe they miss on TV or miss on the Channel 3 coverage or the newspaper, and if I could just enlighten them a little bit more about what neat things are going on at the high school in athletics. That's why I do it. As far as being ruffled, I get ruffled just like anyone else. It's because I want everything to be perfect. Everything's got to run smooth from the national anthem to the tip-off to the officials. So there is, behind the door, we try to take care of those things. Yes, it is stressful because, like I said, I want it to be perfect. But some great coaches have said they like to surround themselves with good people, and it makes the job easier. I don't know if it's by accident or selection or them molding to the way we all think, but when you talk about these bunch of coaches, from everyone from the new coaches, Melissa Strauss, who's volleyball, who's learned the way to do it the East Brunswick way, to the veterans of Mr. Carney, Mr. Borden, Mr. Hockenjoss, or even Mr. Hastings. We all, God bless them, we all do the right thing. We all do the same thing. We're all on the same page, and they complement one another. So there's expectations of how to act, what to do, what not to do.
And that sort of covers a lot of what we see on the courts and on the fields. But again, there is so much scheduling that goes on. Now, is this something that the coaches personally do, or is this something you have to get involved with that? Okay. There's not enough time in the day to do all that.
Yeah, there is. You do it at home. An athletic director's phone at 5 o'clock, 5:30. If you're lucky enough to be home, that means usually the bus didn't show, or the media, the newspaper needs to talk to somebody, and they know when to get you, and that's the best time. But so your job is like 24/7 sometimes. Saturdays you get a phone call or your cell phone rings. Sometimes it's a problem, but that I'm not complaining. I like it.
Yeah. Well, all I can say is I remember somebody doing a calculation on how much you would be making if you were paid by the hour or the minutes of time that you put into the job, and I think it was like 19 cents an hour. It's pretty amazing.
It's enjoyable, Jim. Almost as enjoyable as teaching and coaching. That was my favorite, and most coaches, teachers will tell you that. But this is right up there, and I enjoy it. But as far as the scheduling, I do the scheduling. The conference gives you a certain amount of games, then you go out and you look, and you want to give like. If 70% of your schedule is done by the conference, you want the other 30 to be equal games of, we should win this one, and we got to play well to beat this one. You don't want to schedule all wins. You want to schedule, not scheduling losses, but people that you got to play well so you can test yourself. We asked the coaches input for that, and they've been known to say, no, I don't want to play that school, they're too good, because we're supposed to be good.
That's
So,
for sure.
yeah, so we all cooperate with that. It's not a dictatorship in that I need their input, and,
Okay.
you know.
And you have a very supportive family as well, I will also mention.
Yes.
I often see your wife at a lot of these games and events, and well, it's been a lifelong labor of love, as you explained. And talking about a lifetime achievement, good Lord, I'm trying to think of a season that just passed, this winter season, where I'm just looking at some of these records, and almost across the board, undefeated teams that won conferences and divisions. How would you characterize this winter season past?
I knew you were going to ask me that on the way over. Actually, this morning when I was out for my run, for lack of a better word, we'll call it a run. I don't know if it's running, and although the record is real good and we're proud of it, we didn't win very many titles. But the important thing, Jim, is we competed in every tournament, and in every event we were in the title chase or a championship or a trophy chase. So we were never out of it, and we just came up short. Like boys basketball, you know, we lost in the conference tournament by, you know, a point or so, and we very easily could have been in the finals.
Oh, sure.
A couple breaks here and there. Girls basketball, the same thing. They beat the two teams in the finals. Right? Maybe we beat them at the wrong time. Who knows? But you know, most of the sports were competing for the titles, which is good, because they've got to feel that urgency that we've got to win. You know, that's important in athletics.
Right. For the record for the cumulative record for the sports teams was 114, 44, and 3. So, folks, you get an idea as to what kind of success the East Brunswick winter teams achieved this year. We will start with boys basketball, and coached by Bo Henning, a admirable 18-10 record, and as you had mentioned, easily could have been in the conference finals.
Right.
Accorded themselves extremely well, and of course led by Bo Henning, who most think is one of the best in the state.
Yes, this is his 18th year, believe it or not.
Gosh.
Yeah, right. And maybe his most outstanding coaching performance. There may have been one game that the kids didn't play up to par, and they got upset, and they know that, and that turned the season around a little bit. But other than that, even that final game when we lost down in the freehold in the state tournament and went right down to the last couple seconds. Kids always showed character. We were down big, and we came back on them, and then time ran out in the last second. The ball couldn't get inbounds. You know, credit to freehold, they did the right thing.
Sure.
But some individuals, Mike Wagenblast, Tommy Gadziella, Jimmy McCloskey, and Johnny Byrne, 4 seniors that really did a good job of keeping the team together, great camaraderie, and they all knew their roles. You know, point guard, rebounder. I don't know if there's a better 6'1" inside man in the conference than Mike Wags. And you know, MVP of the team, I don't know, but Johnny Byrne was all conference, but any of those kids could have been our most valuable player.
Absolutely, and haven't been keeping track, but any of these kids going to be moving on to play any college
I'm
basketball?
sure Gadziella is being looked at a lot of threes, and so is, I know, Johnny Byrne. A lot of schools, Kane, Montclair are really interested in him. And Bo's in the office all the time talking to the coaches.
Okay.
I have a feeling Wagenblast will go to Rutgers, and I think McCluskey will probably want to play football somewhere.
Really? I was going to ask you about Jimmy, because of course he's had a lot of notoriety playing football, as we all know.
He just received the Bill Denny scholarship. He was part of that dinner, and he received a scholarship for being our representative. So we're going to miss him. He was fun to watch.
Oh,
He's playing lacrosse, so we still have another season.
Oh, there you go. So more of Jimmy McCluskey. Great. But the basketball season, again, very successful. And one that I recall talking to Katie Whalen's brother.
Coach Richie?
Richie. Sorry, Rich. This was while we were doing the football broadcast, and I kind of looked at him. I said, basketball season's right around the corner. You guys going to be any decent? Because I was thinking, think Reggie's stepping down. Katie's been, her first year was kind of tough, respectable but tough. And he says, we'll be okay. And I'm looking at this team play, and I said, this is better than an okay team. 21-5 was their final record. They'll tell you, we underachieved. We beat those two teams that were in the finals of the conference tournament. We could have been there. But I'll have to say, great team. It looks like the program is back, if not better than what it was a couple of years ago.
Well, hopefully we'll be saying that next year. We graduate 7 kids.
Yeah.
We have 1 returning starter, Candace Green, coming back. The rest of those 7 seniors have been with us, and they're real valuable to us. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention them, and I will. But they knew their roles also. And, we played Trenton tough, and, it was a tie game to the last 15 seconds, 30 seconds. They had the ball, we stole the ball, we're going down court to tie it up, and there's a steal, and, that's it. But, we were as good as anyone. And I'm happy for the Whalens, Coach Whalen and Richie, because they put a lot of time in, they work, and the kids respond to them. Jess Campbell, great athlete, she was an all-conference player. Allison Ricky was outstanding off the bench. Christy Lang, our outstanding soccer player. Anna Chesnakova is our volleyball player. And she'll probably, although she's getting some looks at basketball, can't coach height, and she's come a long way.
Oh, yeah.
Laura Petriello maybe going to CW Post to play. Megan Mayo, not sure, but she can play. And like I said, Candace Green.
Yes.
But those 7 seniors, I want to thank them publicly for really representing East Brunswick the way you're supposed to on the court.
Absolutely. Just a great performance. And I want to thank Bo and Katie for agreeing to be mic'd up during our games.
Thank God you never asked me to do that way back. Oh, boy.
I have a feeling you would have said yes. But anyway.
You may have done a lot of bleeps.
And there were a couple of times where they might have even forgotten that they were being mic'd up. But it was always fun to listen in and just watch the coaching that went on. It may have been a situation where they were winning by 30 points, yet they're in there coaching. And of course, my broadcast partner, Megan, she would always point out to me that this is the way they really coach. They're looking ahead to other situations and pointing to the player, and that made them better as a result of that.
Well, Megan O'Neill.
She
right.
She's going to crucify
She's
me.
a great teacher, and she's going to be a great coach with us. But you see, all those people you just mentioned, they're great teachers. Before you coach, you got to teach.
Okay.
You've got to teach that game. So if the game's a blowout one way or the other, now you got new people in. If you're not teaching, then those kids aren't going to respond. They're not going to learn. So they know they've got to teach/coach the entire game. You may not, it may be a little bit different in the intensity, but those kids out on the court need your attention if they're the reserves.
Absolutely.
And they know that's what we need to do.
Well, congratulations to those 2 teams, the girls and boys basketball teams. And let's move on, and I'm going to say upward, to 2 undefeated teams, the boys winter track team coached by Kevin McAvoy, 6-0, and the girls winter track team coached by Brian Merrigan, 6-0. These are dual meets, of course.
Well, like I said last year, Jim, the dual meets, the conference, and the conference decided not to schedule any more dual meets because of the weather.
Right.
So we had to individually schedule them. So it wasn't all Red Division schools.
I understand.
They were different schools. But we felt it's important for everyone to compete, not just in the big meets where the elite athlete run, but all of them. So my hat's off to Mac and Mandy and Mr. Morris and Mr. Merrigan for seeing it that way, because that's the way I see it, to get all these other kids involved. If not, it's just going to be like the elitists running. But the boys, first time in 10, 12, 13 years, conference champs, and it was done never more evident is with the teamwork. I mean, if you place 4th, you get a point. If you place 1st, you get a certain amount of points. And we just edged out Old Bridge, and there was no one's going to say who the winning point was, but that person that took a third or a fourth was just as important as the one that took a first.
Yes.
So it was great to see them. And then, as Coach Mack pointed out many times, and Mack was the conference coach of the year, by the way.
Okay.
We also received a sportsmanship award, and I know Coach Mack is very proud of that because that's winning the right way, and as I am too. So guys like Yannick Wood, who was the all-conference, he was conference champion. Jeremy Lachau was a sprint champion. Congratulations to him. Danny Gilbert took a second in the he took a third in the 1600, and Justin Granite took a second in a very exciting race. But Justin was also, for the first time since Jimmy Lee, maybe not Jimmy Lee, was state champ in the 1600 down at Princeton. The kid didn't run or work out hard for about a week, felt better, and just did it on guts. So Justin, congratulations and the best of luck to you at the University of Maryland.
Great.
Girls win the track had 2 all-conference performers, and Erin Comerford and Brittany Rodriguez. They didn't score as well as they would have liked, but again, winter track, Coach Merrigan had 70-something girls out there. Before we run the cheerleading, Jim, I know you didn't forget it, but maybe I forgot to talk about wrestling. Maybe a little bit off the regular season. Maybe it's because the other teams had outstanding years this year, but Kevin Busan, the senior, had maybe our best year of all our wrestlers this year. But Fabian Pleasant, who addressed the kids at Churchill at an athletic-type banquet for those kids, and did a great job, a real gentleman. He's going to the Naval Academy.
Oh, wow.
We've got another young man, Gary Morosi, who's applied and is waiting to hear about the Naval Academy. Coming back, we got Sergio Garcia, we got Todd Marriott. So we got some quality kids coming back also with Chris Williams and Nick Parabello. So there's lower weights were pretty solid. We're still looking for some of those heavyweights in the wrestling.
Okay, so hopefully the wrestling program will continue to build on some of the
We're competitive,
accomplishments.
Jim. We're competitive.
Well, so is the rest of the county too. I can't believe how the county has just, all the GMC teams have just
other
gotten
schools,
better, and surprises too. Like Perth Amboy came out of nowhere. Cerebral, best team in a long time, ever. If I'm not
Their best
mistaken.
ever, I think. Yep.
Yeah. So the competition is there, and that makes it more tough for the teams that are used to winning.
Makes it more exciting too.
Absolutely, and it's the way it should
But
be.
they did a great job, the wrestlers. I think they wrestled to their potential.
Yeah, and you mentioned cheerleading, coached by Michelle Sperduto. We certainly, I know Megan, every basketball game would announce them, and we get to see them with some of those cheers that were, I couldn't look sometimes.
Well, ever since the young lady from, what school was that fell in college, it showed, I think everyone's looking back at now the stunts and things we do. Maybe we have to tone it back because it seems that cheerleading, they want to up the next school or do one more better.
Oh, it's pretty amazing.
More better, that doesn't make sense, but they want to do a tougher routine.
Yeah.
But Coach does a great job, and Sierra Abloff and Amanda Miller, congratulations for them, for their leadership, and another outstanding job. The compliments I get on our cheerleaders really makes it neat. They wonder why do you guys take cheerleaders to away games? We're one of the few to do that, Jim.
Oh, I wasn't.
They all go to the rack. They all go to the big ones.
Yeah.
But the other round of the tournament, our cheerleaders come.
Yeah. I know it's not listed here, but I wanted to mention a couple of times we saw at halftime of games a dance group. Was that any way associated? That's associated with the school, is it not?
That's an extension of the phys ed program. We teach dance and phys ed 5 periods a day, and then there's a dance club.
Okay.
And to promote physical fitness and dance and exercise, I said, let's dance. So they've been out there a couple times. Every halftime we had a show.
That's for sure.
We had foul shooting. We're going to bring in dogs jumping through hoops. No, most of it was sports related. We were honoring winning teams. Yeah. Or we had the little kids playing 5-on-5. But it's fun for halftime.
That's great.
I enjoy that part.
Well, congratulations and for the best efforts of those teams, particularly the cheerleading this year. They always do well for East Brunswick, and Anyway, congratulations. The swimming program, boys and girls. The boys finished with a 7-4 record. The girls finished with an 8-4 record, coached by Charlie.
Genex.
Right.
Charlie's also our ninth grade girls soccer coach and our assistant volleyball. Very dedicated coach, also coach of the year by the conference and
Really?
the local newspaper for the girls. Best ever season according to coach for the girls. They qualified again for the states, as did the boys, and they finished second in the conference, both boys and girls. So they've got nothing to be ashamed of. They took home some hardware individually in second place. And, again, we talk about, going over to Middlesex County College every day, coming home at 7, but it's like wrestling. It's really dedicated to the sport. And you don't get a lot of the publicity. The newspaper, they're going to have they have the GMC finals up there, but day in and day out, you see the basketball or wrestling. But Aaron Moscovich, who's relatively young swimmer, 4 years, maybe 5 years swimming, he was a conference champ in the 100 free. Johnny Giampetro was also an all-conference performer. They're going to graduate. We're going to miss them. We had two girls, sisters, Catherine Zavoda and her sister Jennifer, were all conference, and Teresa Lindbaugh. So congratulations to those girls for what they've brought East Brunswick, and to Coach Pell and Coach Genex. Again, hopefully everyone appreciates your dedication.
Oh, I'm sure they do. And again, going over to Middlesex County College every day, or I don't know how many times a week they went.
Well, we go 5, and sometimes, a Saturday, occasional 6, but, they don't get the recognition they do. They deserve.
You're absolutely right about that. And talk about a sport where you have to do a lot of traveling. Bowling, the girls' team was 27-1. Excuse me, 27-1, and the boys' team was 22-5-2, coached by Jeff Elias. Excellent season, but also you got some excellent bowlers, do you not?
Yeah, we do. And Coach Elias has taken us to the next level in bowling, in everything. There is a bowling booster club headed by the Pulowskis. We had our first ever senior night at the bowling alley, and we honored the seniors with a little pizza party. Mr. Murphy, our principal, and I went over there. So, and this is all a result of Mr. Elias, I remember one day we had to cancel the bus because there wasn't a bus, and he came in the office. I thought he was going to beat me up. He was so angry because he cares, Jim.
Sure.
And that's okay that he was upset, but there was no bus. I couldn't drive the team. But he really cares, and he's dedicated. He's also an assistant baseball coach for us. But he's brought us to the next level. Our boys, like you said, we had 22 wins, 5 losses. We didn't win any titles as a team, but again, we competed. We were there at every match, and it was to that last match, the last 2 matches of the year, where we eliminated from the division. Adam Pulowski, who had a great year for us individually, he is by the local media, the bowler of the year. He may have been last year, but during the tournament, he got sick. Now, Matt Hage, who's only a junior, Matt Hage is the conference champion in bowling. So we have a real nice bowling nucleus, and then there's the young man we were talking about, Spishak, I believe his first name's Adam. He's only a freshman. He's an all-division bowler. Maybe in a year or so, he'll be just like Adam or Matt and be all-conference.
Yeah. You didn't mention anything about averages, okay? That's what I look at, and I am amazed at some of the averages of some of these bowlers. Like 200 plus?
Yeah, and it seems that what's really neat is that they step it up when they have to. The averages go up during tournament play, goes up when they do the individual tournament. The kids, I guess a lot of it is concentration, but it's they really step it up. Bowling is so exciting to go down there. It's a unique sport, and for all the people out there, if you've never gone to a high school bowling match, do it.
And go to Carolier Lanes, right?
You'll be amazed at the camaraderie and the spirit and the good sportsmanship displayed by everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I just talk this often. If your opponent gets a split or makes a good hit, you know, they high-five them. I don't think in basketball, if a kid dunks on you, hit the three, going down the other end, the guy's going to give him a high five. Or in football, he's going to slap him on the butt, say, nice run.
You're
but
absolutely
bowling has that.
Well, a tremendous sports season overall. And yes,
the girls bowling, remember?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Two young ladies, Marissa Delaval and Caitlin Timpson. They were all-star selections. They provided great leadership to us, for us. And like I said, the girls were in it too, right down to the end. That last match of the year, we needed somebody to beat someone else, and it didn't happen. But they competed right to the end.
Oh, absolutely. And with the 2 minutes that we have left, I would be remiss if we didn't spend a little time talking about the gentleman that keeps this all together from a health perspective, and that's Phil Hostler, your trainer. You can talk about him for a minute or so.
I'll give him his 30 seconds. Phil just does a great job, and his trainer, Yelena Klikova, who's done with boys basketball. Jessica Parker did the girls baskets, and Victoria McLean did the wrestling. You just can't imagine all the little things they do to help the team. And I really like the way the teams have adopted them as part of, and they are part of the team, but they include them in banquets, they include them in awards, and they really make them special. It's another group that doesn't get their due recognition.
Well, I think they...
Kind of like you, Jim.
Yeah, it's a labor of love, absolutely. But Phil's an amazing guy. He's very nonchalant about his job. I recall a basketball game early in the season when John Byrne went down. And, I mean, this guy needed to be carried off the court. And after the game, I asked Phil, you know, what do you think? And he says, oh, we'll probably have him back in another game or so. So anyway, he just professional in his job.
Spring, Jim.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah?
Golf teams, volleyball, softball, boys track.
Good stuff?
Yeah, good stuff. The guys, you got to come out and watch us.
Well, we're going to have an opportunity to do that.
I didn't mean just you guys, but I meant our audience out there.
Well, we're gonna make sure that they get their due, obviously, when we wrap up the spring. Well, you know, Mr. Noppenberger, it's always a pleasure. Again, the whole staff here, the camera crew, our producers, station managers, and everybody else associated with this, it's really a pleasure to have you come down here all the time. So that is going to do it for this edition of Sports Talk. For Frank Noppenberger, this is Jimmy Allinder saying thanks for being with us.